Hello and welcome to another episode of the Watch It Played Q&A. My name is Matthew, and together, with a bunch of your help, let's endeavour to answer all of the internet's burning board game questions. There's questions, and I deem myself fit to answer them, even though the first one, it's the February question, isn't it? What are the best two-player games? Look, I may not have anyone special to share this Valentine's celebrations with that have already passed by now, thank goodness. That doesn't mean I haven't got opinions on two-player games. And yes, I'm aware. I often start a question like this and then take it down the TCG route or start talking about abstract games. And no one wants that. So I've got some board games. I really want to talk about, though, games that I haven't mentioned before. But yes, Seven Wonders, I wrote a list. Seven Wonders Duel, Lost Cities, Mythic Mischief, Patchwork, Jaipur are all phenomenal games. So is Caesar Sees Rome in 20 minutes. Oh man, as a two-player game, this one is fantastic. It was a sequel to the first one they did in 20 minutes, which was called Blitzkrieg. They've also got another game called Dogfight. Caesar is my favourite of all of them. I just like games set in Rome a lot of the time, but this is phenomenal. You're placing tiles, you've got some tiles behind your little screen, and you're placing them out on the borders of all these different regions, and you're trying to have the most power in going into that region. All these tiles are double-sided. Well, they've got two halves. Everything's double-sided, really, when you think about it. And you're trying to have the most influence in a region to put your token out because you want to be the first person to get rid of all your tokens, essentially. And you can chain them off to get even more out. Oh, it's delicious. The twist is that the last person who closes off a region, regardless of whether they win it, gets the bonus token that's in that region, which has a special ability, which does a bunch of other stuff. So people are so terrified to put the last but one token in because that means the other opponents can close it off, but I want to put my token in there to close this region off. That's going to help you. Oh, it's dynamic, it's phenomenal, it's exciting. Caesar Sees Rome in 20 minutes, stellar game. Then we have Mindbug. Mindbug is kind of like a TCG, but it's not, because it's just a deck of cards. There's multiple decks of cards now. You can mix them all together if you're crazy. But it's just a deck of cards, and you kind of are drawing off this shared deck, but you're playing a card game, which is very TCG-like, where you've got some health. You want to just not take a couple damage, essentially. And you've got monsters that have abilities and all this type of stuff. The cool thing is you can always play a card. The strongest card you want, you can play that. Go ahead. But everyone has two mind bugs. If you play a really strong card, I can choose to just take that card. I can just have it. I can spend one of my mind bugs to get in its brain. And it's my monster now. You've really got to work out. It's the tension. When do I play the things that are awesome? Do I try to bait my opponents? I play a really powerful card that's worth value 7, and it's 7 cost. That's just some cool stuff because I've got a 9 in my hand. Maybe they'll just take the 7, and then I'll have this. Oh, delicious game. It wouldn't be something that I was involved with without talking about Reiner Knizia. And for this one, I've got Carcassonne, the Castle. Carcassonne, one of the greatest games of all time, one of my favorites. Reiner Knizia comes in and says, hey, I've got some ideas for some new rules. It's a two-player only version. Instead of being able to play anywhere you want, you have this border that you build first, within which you build your pieces out. Everything has to match when they touch. No, get rid of that. The paths have to match, but nothing else does. And the beautiful thing, oh gosh, it's great. Do you want to score the most points? Of course. But would it not be better to score the most points later by scoring a very specific amount of points now, to put your scoring marker on the exact right spot on the scoring track to collect bonus tokens, which might get you double points for things or extra stuff and loads of bonuses and cool stuff. Carcassonne on the Castle. I'm physically excited thinking about it. It's that good. The fourth game I want to talk about is one that really surprised me. Awkward Guests 2, the Berwick Cases. And it's a deduction game. And I'm not classically a deduction kind of guy, but this game is phenomenal. I enjoyed the original Awkward Guests as well, but this is so much better. You are both the mastermind behind a murder and the investigator trying to solve a murder. It's just so smart, and it's kind of distilled a lot of what was great about Awkward Guests into this two-player game, which is, in my opinion, far superior. And you're trying to just work it out. You've got to work out the route and the weapon and how they got there and who did it, and trying to work out where these different characters started. And okay, if they started there and I know they went through this room and this room, could this person have... Oh, it breaks your brain. I have won this once. Can you even believe? And my final two-player game is the one and only two-player masterpiece, Targi. Cosmos Games have done a line of two-player games for the longest time. Many of them just off camera here. And a lot of them are absolutely just perfection. But Targi has something. It's a two-player worker placement game where you've got a grid and you're putting your workers, your Targis, out onto the outer rim on these actions, and then you get extra actions by working out where they cross, and the card that's there is another action that you get, or maybe it's goods that you want to collect or caravans that you want to buy to get special points, special abilities. So you're making a tableau that's going to score you points to give you special abilities, but because it's such a tight worker placement game, inevitably the person you're playing with is going to do you dirty. And they might not even try to be doing that, but it's going to happen. Targi manages to just distill tension and stress in the most lovely way into a two-player game. It's phenomenal. What are your favourite two-player games? Two players for me is the easiest player count to make happen, because I just have to convince one person to play a game. So I'm always on the lookout for new and exciting and delicious and special two-player games. And the final February question: how many syllables even is the word February? I'm done being a completionist. Is anyone else out? Now I saw this and I thought, I guess this is in the context of collecting series of games, expansions for games, all the games by the same designer, all the games from a publisher, all the games that got numbered, and now there's a number on the side of the box, which means I have to own the whole shebang. They've numbered this is a numbered series. I need number 6. I've got all of them but number 6. And even though I dislike the game, I still need it because my bookshelf will look that much better. I believe it was a giant fish in space that first said, "It's a trap." And I also come from the Pokemon generation. Do I come from? Yeah, when I was, young, Pokemon came out. And it was on TV. And I was at an age where I could watch that. You gotta catch them all. That's what we want to do. We want to catch them all. We want to do the collection. And collecting is fun. I love collecting. I like collecting stuff. But collecting for the sake of collecting sometimes can be the trap that the fish was talking about. I do find that if something was good enough to spawn a bunch of expansions or sequels or a whole line of games, it's normally because it was excellent. So I understand how the collections start. Ticket to Ride is a great example. Phenomenal game. Love it. We should make an expansion. That was a great expansion. We should make another 12. And they just do. And they always sell. And I can definitely see the excitement and enjoyment of owning all of them. There's a few extras in this box. And one here. I own a fair amount of Ticket to Ride. I've got no desire to own it all. But I do pick and choose the expansions. Because once you get down the expansion list and trying to collect them all, which is fun. We love hunting. That is innate in our human nature. The thrill of the hunt. And now I have them all. And now there are no bison left at all because they're all in my house. I love scrolling eBay, finding Carcassonne expansions, hitherto unknown, unplayable promos. And then you've got them all. It gives you something to do. It gives you a goal. It gives you a thrill. It gives you the thrill of the hunt. And when it comes in the mail, you get it. You go, yes, I got it. Go away from me now. Where's the next one? I've got to get the next one. I'm really not against collecting games at all. why not? It doesn't hurt anyone. It does sometimes hurt your wallet because they're smaller, because of the nature of the world. But I'm not against collecting things. But collecting things for collecting's sake because you feel like you're missing out, or because you feel like you have a duty to have everything, or it's becoming a burden and you're not enjoying it anymore, and you're thinking about, oh, I can't keep up with the releases and I've got to get all of these games from this company, then stop, don't do it. The only point of doing the collection part of the board game hobby is if you enjoy it and it's bringing you some satisfaction in life. And if it's not, and you're starting to get tired and stressed out and out of space and worried, and it's keeping you up at night because there's a promo that's coming out at Essen and I'm not going to Essen, just step back and allow that to stop. How about you? Are you a collector? Do you enjoy it? Or is it keeping you up at night and binding you up and tying you down? And what is happening here? Is it destroying you from the inside out? Let me know. And that's it. That is another month of questions and answers. If you've got any answers, please put them below. We'll start the discussion. Do you agree with me? Just tell me you agree with me. That's what I want to know. Thank you, as always, for watching. We all appreciate you so very much. And until next month, thanks for watching.